Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are previewing the second match between the Springboks and the Lions. It's going to be an epic one. It's the make or break one in this series because the Lions, they ended up winning that first one. It is a big one for the Springboks here. If they win this one, the series is very much still alive for that third test. If the Lions end up winning this one, that third test is a dead rubber and the Lions clinch the series for themselves. The Lions have only gone on to lose a series twice after winning the first test match, so they have everything to play for in this one. It feels like a big battle within a battle if you look at the whole thing on social media with Rassie Erasmus and Gatlin and those guys just chirping one another. But what matters this week is what happens on the field. If you look at the couple of changes both teams made, the Lions not a lot of changes. Obviously, you would expect that with Vunipola, Murray, and then Harris being the changes for them. The Springboks also 3 changes to their starting team: Kitshoff, Malherbe, and Visa. Let's get into this team. If you want to see more Lions content, remember to hit the subscribe button. Let's look at the starting front row. Both front rows see changes. Vunipola coming in. Last week he was actually lucky to be on the bench, or unlucky in some cases with the injury there to Jones. But Vunipola was on the bench last week. He actually is getting better and better every week. This week he is starting, and last week he was the one probably getting the upper hand over the opposition that he is scrumming against this week. Again, Furlong, always the ever-present guy, always strong. I think in that first half against Oxenchair, he was probably outscrummed a little bit, but in that second half against Kitshoff, he had the upper hand there. This week around, though, it is Malherbe and Kitshoff starting for the Springboks. I think it is going to be a better start for them. These two aren't used to playing from the bench. It is a different role and a different dynamic to a game playing from the bench. These two are the type of guys that play from the start of the game, especially Kitshoff. He plays 80 minutes regularly for the team. Mbunambi at number 2, that makes it a all-Stormers front row, a team that, or 3 guys that have played together a lot of times. We'll see how the pitch holds together this week around. Again, Kitshoff did mention in a press conference that it is a bit of a problem with scrum time and they are working on things there. Like I say every week, I'm not a fan of the pitch, and you can see that sand-based pitch is just tearing up every scrum time. But you could see the Lions, they made it work for them. Cowan Dickey at number 2, he was very prolific last week with that maul try of his. The maul for the Lions worked really well as well, and they would want to continue on that. The Springboks obviously would have worked on their defense on that as well. There was a nice analytical video where I saw how the Springboks kind of defended a maul in the first instance, and then the Lions just in the second instance just counter-attacked it a lot better. Getting to the 2 second rows, that is a big battle again with Etzebeth and Itoje. Itoje, he had a brilliant game last week. He had a couple of turnovers, big tackles, big runs as well. So one of the big standout players last week again. This week he will want to do that again. And Etzebeth, he will want to prove that he's also a number 4 in the reckoning in this game. And you could see that little battle inside the battle as well, or battle inside the war as well, with Etzebeth pushing Itoje down on the park as well before standing up. Mostert, Allen and Jones, both of them engines in the middle of the scrum. Both of them bring a lot of energy. Mostert, he made so many tackles last week. Allen Jones with his leadership, you can't fault it. He's doing so good and making the best decisions for his team, and they ended up winning the game from decisions where he decided to call for the line instead of going for the poles. Then another leader, you go for Kulisi at number 6. Dutoy at number 7, probably one of his more quiet games, though he pops up everywhere. One of his more quiet games last week. Courtney Laws, I have to highlight him. He was probably one of the best players on the Lions' team last week. Really was impressed with him at number 6. He made a lot of tackles last week. Probably not as dominant in the first half, but second half, you could see him really racking up some meters as well. Curry, always a force when it comes to the breakdown time. Last week he did it again, getting some meters with running time as well. Conan racking up meters as well. So that loose trio of the Lions is unchanged. Last week they were a little bit bigger than the Springboks loose trio, and that was the thing that really cost the Springboks, I think, with scrum time, with line-out time, and then also all over the park as well. This week, the Springboks, they do get a bit bigger though, with Visa coming in at number 8. You know him in England. He plays in the Premiership for the Tigers. He's been so powerful. If you give him a 10-meter run or run up onto a ball, he will destroy the guy in front of him. So really looking forward to a guy like him coming in. It just brings a lot of power to that pack of the Springboks. The only thing that I could fault for the Springboks, there's no real breakdown master there, no real guy that's going to go and take the ball from any breakdown there. Maybe Kitshoff, he's quite skilled at that, but no real threat otherwise than that. Then we get to the two backlines for the teams. De Klerk, he played well in that first half last week. In the second half, I don't think his box kicks went to the spots that it should be. Murray, he's in at number 9. Actually surprised here. Last week I was very surprised that he was left out. This week I'm surprised that he is in, because Ali Price, I think he's one of those unsung heroes in the Lions' game last week, with all those box kicks that he put perfectly on the right spot. And talking about that box kicks, that kicks were really the trouble for the Springboks, and the Springboks will need to improve on that. They'll need to find a way to improve on their aerial skills, because last week that's what probably cost them at the end. They're probably usually very good at that facet of play, but the Lions just put the ball in spaces where it was really contentious last week. And having a big backline like they do have, especially the back three, especially with a guy like Van der Merwe, you can really contend for the ball there. Bigger, he retains his spot at number 10, and he's going to add to that threat in the air as well for the Springboks. That is if he does continue his HIA protocols well. Otherwise, we'll probably see Farrell at number 10. I don't know, maybe Lions fans, you can maybe let me know there. And Pollard, he continues at number 10 for the Springboks. Last week was probably a very forgettable 50th test match for him. He missed a couple of kicks at goal, and if he probably slotted that over, the game would have been a lot different, and what we spoke about after that match would have been a lot different as well. But at the end of the day, that is rugby. Both number 10s, I think there is things to improve on, and if you just highlight these two teams, it was a game of two halves for sure. De Allende and Henshaw, that was a big clash. I think De Allende, he played a little bit better as well. Henshaw always brings the ball forward, but I think that combo he had with Daly just did not work out so well. Daly, he got hammered so many times. That game was opened up with hitting him very hard. On defense was also very good. I think the center combo with 12-13, De Allende and was a bit better than the 12-13 combo of the Lions. That is why there is a change for them, bringing in Harris for the Lions this week around. I think that is going to strengthen their team a lot. He is very good on attack. I think he's a little bit bigger as well. And on defense, I think he is a bit stronger as well. So if you do give those kicks, that contentious kicks, the Springboks do end up catching it, there is a solid defender that can grab the guy running at you. Then you go to the back three, unchanged for the Lions yet again. Still no Josh Adams, which is such a surprise, but Van der Merwe, I thought he played very well last week. He almost scored a try if it wasn't for that knock on just before it. Watson at number 14, he's always dangerous. In the couple of times he got the ball, he had to work really hard, but he always was a threat, and Springbok fans' hearts always was racing when he got the ball. Hogg at number 15, that's probably your one contentious position where Williams could get a spot there, but Hogg, I don't really think he had such a bad game. I think it was overall an okay game. It's also a game of two halves for him there. In the second half, it went a lot better for him. The back three for the Springboks was very quiet last week. Willie Leroux not so secure under the high ball as always. Mapimpi, I thought he did well with the little ball he got. And Colby, as I said last week before the game, I think the Lions will avoid giving him the ball at all, and that is what happened. And the little ball he did get, he kind of didn't do much with it, and it showed that he did struggle, especially in the air. There was a couple of knock-ons, but he worked really hard to get into the contention for that ball, and you can't fault him for that. Getting to the two benches, both teams made interesting selections, especially the Boks going with their 6-2 split that we know from the World Cup. A different 6-2 split, but still, nevertheless, it is a dangerous one. You don't see Oxenchair there from last week. He unfortunately misses out due to a neck niggle, so he's unfortunately not there. Marks is the hooker replacement. Nyakane, he's the loose head replacement. That's quite strange. I haven't seen him play there quite often or lately. That is his traditional position. And Koch at the tight head, so that is a strong front row replacement. I think Nyakane is probably the highlight there. We'll see how he goes in this game. Koch, he's the Saracen. He will want to go up against Vanipola somewhere in this game. The front row replacements for the Lions is Owens. Sutherland, he drops to the bench. I thought he had a strong outing last week as well. Sinclair at number 18. The big name in that front row is Owens. He doesn't take anything away from Cowan Dickey when he does come on. Then the second row replacement for both teams, Byrne. He's probably more of a loose forward replacement, meaning Laws will probably shift to the lock if Byrne is used. Falatau is this week at number 20, not Watson. Watson probably unlucky not to be there. He had a big, strong work rate when he came on last week. The two flanker replacements for the Springboks is Van Staden and Smith. That's an interesting selection. Van Staden, he brings a little bit of size to the team as well, and he is very much like your Heinrich Brousseau of the 2009 Lions series. He is the guy at breakdown time. Kwagga Smith as well. He's probably there for a bit of versatility as well. He can play 8 and 6, and if needs be, he can slot out on the wing as well, being a sevens player as well. So I think that two loose forward replacement for the Springboks is quite an interesting one, and to see how they will use it is going to be interesting. I think Pieter Stef de Tooy, we might see him actually shift to the locks as well alongside the Jager. Then for the Lions, Ali Price, like I said, strong outing last week. He'll probably want to show why he started last week. Farrell at number 22, he had a good outing when Bigger went off. Daly at number 23 for his versatility and his big boot. A lot of people would probably wonder why Josh Adams couldn't get that position, or maybe Williams as well. The 22-23 replacements for the Springboks is Herschel Jantjies and Willemse. Willemse there for his versatility as well, playing 10, 12 and 15. There might just be a couple of worries if Paul Hort goes down. There's no real goal kicker or confident goal kicker. Willemse, he hasn't kicked very well for a long time, but maybe Cheslin Colby, who knows. Guys, getting into the prediction here. It is in Cape Town Stadium. All the tests are in Cape Town Stadium. The slippery pitch, it will continue throughout this. The referee this time around is Ben O'Keefe. Nick Berry, he's assistant referee this week around. Ben O'Keefe, hopefully there's no situation like a couple of weeks ago in that Australian-French test where he gave a red card to Karim Betty, and then the red card was pulled back the week after and it said it shouldn't have been a red card. Marius Jonker, he continues at TMO. Hopefully the Lions fans are happy with him now, and hopefully Springbok fans can forgive him this week around. Guys, getting to my prediction, it is a very tough one to call. Last week I got a lot of stick in the comments when I said the Lions will win by 5 points. This week around I do think it's going to be a close one. I think probably the closest game we've seen in a long time. The bounce of the ball can change the game very easily and who's going to win it. But nevertheless, I'm going to say Springboks by 1 point, maybe more of a high scoring game, 25-26. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out these videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button if you do like the channel. And then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.